Hi, it's NME Albums Club, yet again on a Friday. We have, as usual, 3 albums to talk about, 2 that are coming out today, and 1 classic album that came out 20 years ago tomorrow. So 19 years and 364 days ago.
Yep.
Exciting. So the first album it's a slightly controversial one.
It's very controversial.
So not just slightly, yeah, very controversial.
You've not said who you are.
Oh, I'm Leonie Cooper.
And I'm Dan Stubbs.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I thought they knew by now.
Yeah. So yeah, very controversial, and it's, what do we say now?
It is Linkin Park's new album, One More Light.
I wanna fall wide awake now, so tell me it's alright, tell me I'm forgetting.
Here it is, so it's Linkin Park's 7th album.
Here it is on a CD, remember
On a
them?
CD.
Remember that?
Obsolete technology.
Yeah, it looks like an Instagram picture.
It does, that's me and my family in Cornwall last year, actually.
Yeah.
It was really nice, had such a lovely time. So yeah, their 7th album comes, 17 years after Hybrid Theory, which came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Basically the biggest nu metal debut of all time. It was such a kind of seminal album for that kind of music. This sounds like it is not made by the same band at all. This is a pop record.
It is totally a pop record, so it's like it's a complete about turn. So it doesn't sound like Linkin Park, really.
No.
And it has. It's fair to say the fans are surprised.
I'd say divided.
They are shook, as they might say.
Shook indeed, because people like Linkin Park for doing their nu metal thing, though they often denied being nu metal. But
yeah,
come on, guys. You are very much nu metal, or were very much nu metal.
That's one of those genres that no one really wanted to say that they were that. But no.
But if you're wearing shorts to roughly this length, had flesh holes and wallet chains, which they very much did, then you were nu metal.
Yeah, they were completely totemic of it. And as you said, Hybrid Theory was just like an enormous album. It was so massive.
So big.
And
Like
the
millions and millions of copies. Yeah.
They probably never would need to work again anyway. But
however.
But so this one, you know, it's a rock band who've done a pop album, and it's not it's not classic pop, it's like very modern pop.
Kind of,
so
it's Justin Bieber-y pop.
Justin Bieber-y,
which is, so the first single that came out is a song called Heavy, which was written with Julia Michaels and Justin Tranter, who are 2 people who write songs for Justin Bieber. So it sounds like a Bieber song. And there's a pop singer on it called Kiara, and it's the first ever kind of song by Linkin Park with a female vocal on it as well. So again, that's a departure too. So it's they're trying all this new stuff, which, to their credit, I'm quite fond of it because they are trying something new. I mean, I was never a massive nu metal fan, but this, I definitely don't hate it, but it's nice to see a band trying something new.
There's bits of it like, I mean, it's got all those kind of synthy drum sounds and the sort of tropical bits in there. Feels a bit forced, some of it. And then I'd say there's one on there that sounds like it could be a show tune from like Linkin Park the musical, but
it's not the one that sounds like it could be a Mumford & Sons tune.
Right, yeah.
There's one that's got the kind of slightly kind of tinny sort of banjo-y sound coming in, and they're like starts to stomp a bit, like, oh, where are we going with this? To Devon. And
I think that, you know, there's a bit of 21 Pilots in there as well.
Definitely.
But obviously one of the big talking points in there is the second track.
Is it Good Goodbye?
Yeah, Good Goodbye.
2 amazing guests. It's got Stormzy and Pusha T on it. Yeah. Which is pretty good going.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool, and it's like if they'd done that and it wasn't in the context of this album, I think people would be kind of really celebrating the fact that they've obviously fished out Stormzy before he was probably known in America, before his album came out over here.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's kind of like a good little note of Britishness on this very American sounding album, where he's on there talking about postcodes and stuff, and it's, you know, that's probably one of the stronger tracks on the album, I would say.
I think so. But it's still, you can tell it's Linkin Park because it's got that sense of yearning, which they've always done, that kind of like, you know, that's the vibe that's still there. It's still, that thread still runs through it. There's still some emotional stuff going on. We're still being quite emo here.
It's very emotional, yeah. I mean, it's, I would say like whiny really, but it's interesting because it's like the fans have kind of reacted quite badly. Then they've countered that by saying, let us move on, which is a fair point.
It's released a statement this morning as well to sort of explain the album to the fans, which isn't generally what people do when they release an album. It's more just like, here it is, have a listen. They're like, no guys, we need to tell you why we've done this. So obviously they are feeling slightly kind of hit on by the fans, not hit on in a sexy way.
And it's interesting because I don't know like how it will come to be seen in the future. You can't really tell, but you know the fans have got 6 albums of of Linkin Park as they like them. This one is like, it is Linkin Park from a parallel universe. If it turns out to be an enormous folly, like, you know, at least they tried something different.
Well, if you do also look at the sales figures from the previous 6 albums, starts off Hybrid Theory, lots and lots of sales, and still lots of sales, but going down. And their last album was The Hunting Party that came out 3 years ago, their lowest selling record of all time.
And I tell you what, no one's talked about a Linkin Park album as much as this one since Hybrid Theory. So well,
exactly, and they're still one of the biggest bands in the world. And kind of Mike Shinoda, lovely Mike Shinoda. I like Mike Shinoda a lot. Just looks like a nice guy, doesn't he? Just seems really nice.
You met him, didn't you?
He said, yeah. We did a kind of a Facebook Live interview with him a few weeks ago. It was very, very popular because they are very popular. But he said, you're not going to hear super heavy guitars on this album. There's not going to be any screaming on this record, and he's right. There isn't. No screaming from Chester.
I think they said that they're the Backstreet Boys of metal, which is quite an apt sort of thing. Or maybe
maybe they're just the Backstreet Boys of Backstreet Boys.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We're probably joking with that, but yeah. So we talked about Paramore doing their kind of pop invention last week, pop reinvention last week. We got this week. It's a tough time to be a rock fan at the moment, isn't it? But there's lots of new rock bands that are coming out that are great. So, you know.
Of course. So if you still like things heavy and things where people are screaming, that still happens. People are still screaming.
Yeah. Let people change. So there we are. So that was Linkin Park. One more light.
Next, Doc Brown with Stemmer.
Wait with a shrug, basically rob, no break till we're done, then we can't stop now, gonna rock out till we drop down.
So we don't have this one. We were listening to it on Spotify, weren't we?
This one.
So here it is.
Oh yeah.
We don't have the album.
I was listening to it on SoundCloud actually.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. So it's Doc Brown's Stemmer. So it's his first album in a good 10 years.
10 years.
So this is a guy who was kind of trying to. See, a British rapper, UK hip hop, and he was plugged away at the music career for a really long time. Then life took him on a slightly different path. He started doing a Radio 4 comedy show, then started doing stand-up as a spin-off from that.
Quite an exciting path. He was also a BBC script editor.
Right, I did not know that.
Good job.
But people will know him as the guy from the Ricky Gervais film that isn't Ricky Gervais.
He's the other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah, he's also, his name is Ben Bailey Smith. Yeah. The Smith being notable for he is Zadie Smith's younger brother as well. Very high-achieving family here.
I'm sure he loves it that people always mention that.
I bet his name has never been mentioned without someone saying, also Zadie Smith's brother. But I find that interesting. That's interesting information to me. From Kilburn, North London. But,
I mean, you could argue that his career is really on the upswing at the moment in terms of the acting and comedy stuff, but he has taken this moment to put out an album that is not a comedy album.
No.
It's a proper hip hop album, and it seems like he's kind of making a point and just going, I don't care if this does or doesn't do well, I need to do it.
Well, yeah, he's returned to his first love, and actually he came into the office the other day, we had a little chat about it, and he was saying when he was making hip-hop kind of 12, 13 years ago, nobody really cared about UK hip-hop. It was just like Jest and some guys from Bristol making some fine music, and then grime happened, and people like Loyal Kana, people making really exciting UK hip-hop. So I think he went, oh, right, okay. People are interested in this again, and has gone back into the studio in Chingford, which I find interesting. Have you ever been to Chingford?
I have not, no.
It's fine. So yeah, he's coming back with this album. He's actually got some interesting people. His brother's on there. His brother, Luke Skies, part of the Smith family, is there. He's on a couple of tracks. Examples there, and Andy Burrows from Razorlight, the drummer.
Well, see, that's the Gervais connection,
that's the Gervais link, isn't it?
He writes David Brent's awful music.
He does.
Yeah.
Awful on purpose. I'm not saying he's a bad songwriter, because he also wrote America, my favourite Razorlight song.
But you mentioned grime there. It doesn't try and be kind of ultra modern. It tries to. It's very much is what it is. It's
definitely not a grime album. It's a hip hop album. Also, there's kind of indie stuff in there as well. So when he came in the other day, we were talking about how much he loves the Strokes, and kind of one of his first proper musical loves was indie rock and roll music. So that's all coming through as well. There's a lot of guitars on there. Also interesting, on a track called Hydroplaning, which is the last track on the album, the vocal is by Kevin Mark Trail, who used to be the singer in the Streets.
Right. And have you ever hydroplaned?
I don't know what that is.
Quite terrifying.
I don't know what that is.
When you skid across water in your car.
Oh no! I was in the car with my mum the other day, and that did happen. She freaked out.
And he name checks in there. Some quite sort of good reference points. He name checks Gary Barlow and Mark Owen at one point.
Really?
And Jackson Pollock and the Strokes.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's good.
he loves the Strokes. Yeah, it's an interesting album. There's the song Forever is the one that Andy Burrows drums on, and there's a guy in it called Matt Wills who sings that Doc Brown calls the new Ed Sheeran. So if you want a new Ed Sheeran, if you're done with the old one, then maybe seek out this guy. He sounds quite interesting.
But I guess the question that hangs over it is, can you do comedy stuff and then go back and do serious stuff? If Weird Al Yankovic put out an album of sort of murder ballads, would you go along with it?
God, that's literally a question that's never been asked to me before.
Probably.
I don't know, because he sort of looks a bit like a murderer anyway, so that really put me off.
But it's difficult. It's going to be difficult for him to kind of make people think of him as anyone other than the TV personality.
Even though he is
star.
returning to the thing that he did initially, which must be slightly frustrating. I can imagine, like, no, I was a rapper before. And then he did this, he had something in Soho, didn't he, where he kind of put on a night and people like Kanye came down and Amy Winehouse, and then he started playing in Mark Ronson's band as well. So the music stuff is the stuff that's been there from the beginning, but obviously the other stuff has taken over. He was also in Law and Order UK. Right. He's done quite a lot of acting, and a show about Ann Summers in the 80s. Which don't Google Ann Summers on a work computer. No, I did.
So there we are. That was Doc Brown.
Classic album now. I'm quite excited about this one. I'm always excited about the classic albums because they're always really good and really classic.
I've got a thing from the Stubbs archive. This is the original.
Da da da.
Yeah, it's Foo Fighters, The Colour and the Shape, out almost 20 years ago today.
Everything could ever be this way forever. If anything could ever be this good again.
So here we are. So this was my teenage copy of this. It's called The Colour and the Shape. You might expect it to be on shaped coloured vinyl. They couldn't be bothered.
They didn't do that back in the day, did they? No one cared. There was no record store day. No one really cared. Everyone just got a CD. I'm quite impressed that you got that. I bet it cost you like 50 quid or something.
Nah, they were cheap by then.
Oh, were they?
But I was a big fan of the first album.
Okay.
And when I first played this, quite disappointed.
Really?
I know that's
because it's so glossy and clean and slick sounding, and whereas the first Foo Fighters album sounded more like Nirvana. Is that why?
So the first one was basically Dave doing demos, wasn't it?
Just Dave, wasn't it, as well? Yeah, and this is the first when he got the band around him. So it's Pat Smear, Nate Mendel, someone else. W. Goldsmith. Is it he the drummer before Taylor Hawkins?
Yeah. Who was
the blonde Dave Grohl?
Who he got from Alanis Morissette, didn't he? I think.
Did he? Did he? Great. Love Alanis Morissette.
But it's one of those albums that kind of, I think, time has changes your opinion of it, because now, knowing the Foo Fighters as we know them, Glastonbury, headlining, juggernaut, massive, huge, biggest rock band of their time. This is where they did that. This is the album. So on here you've got My Hero, Walking After You, you got Monkey Wrench.
Everlong. We'll talk a lot about Everlong in a minute because it's such a good song. Hey Johnny Park as well.
Yeah. So this is for a second album. That's quite a lot of big anthemic songs.
Massive tunes. This is their sort of We Are Now U2 album. Yeah. Obviously not standard, but that kind of going up to that U2 REM level, which is pretty quick considering it was only 3 years after Kurt Cobain died that this came out. So Dave Grohl didn't reinvent himself, but definitely was like, all right, I'm going next level.
Well,
Chris didn't do that. Chris Novoselic didn't do that. He was like, I've had my fun. I'm out.
But it was him going, this is us being a proper big serious rock band, and but because they were famously pretty fun as well. I remember the early videos were always pretty like laugh a minute, whereas this one was definitely a bit more serious, and they continued down that path. I think.
The videos on this are quite fun as well, though.
I can't remember them particularly, but
I was watching some yesterday, researching, of course.
Good.
And they're fun. But the album is about Dave Grohl's divorce. So it's not going to be amazingly fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes up and down. There's big bangers, then there's soft little songs, and there's a little bit of everything. It's to represent the conflicting emotions that one feels during divorce.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. My last divorce was fine, so it's pretty good with it. But can I tell you about the title?
Yeah.
It was named after something that their tour manager said. Apparently their tour manager liked to go to thrift stores, found a bowling ball, and they asked him why he bought the bowling ball, and he said, oh no, I just like the colour and the shape.
Oh, nice. And they spelled it the British way, which is quite weird. And the cover looks like clackers, those things you used to play with at school. Like those,
those ones, yeah. No, I thought like an executive toy.
Forerunner of the palm spinner thing. So anyway, that really descended into nonsense, didn't it? Yeah, but yeah, great album. 20 years old. It makes me feel old looking at that.
20 years old, but
I'm old.
let's talk about Everlong.
Yes.
Which is such a good song.
I mean, it is just, yeah, it's one of those, it's kind of, it's part of the kind of classic songwriting canon now. I think it's like one of those big, like, you know, timeless tracks.
Definitely. Did you know that when Monica and Chandler get married in Friends, the music playing on the string quartet are doing a string quartet arrangement of Everlong?
I mean, I didn't know that, no.
That might help you out in a pub
Yeah,
quiz.
I think you went to like page 3 of
One
Google
day.
this week, didn't you? Like 3 or 4
I went
possibly,
deep. I went,
yeah.
I'm feeling lucky.
Yeah.
And they just brought me up to some brilliant facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a great song. There was, when I was younger, and Napster was a thing, not that I used Napster, but I've heard it was a thing. And I maybe used it and found an acoustic version of Everlong, which I think I played to death when I was a teenager. And I think it's actually on the 10th anniversary reissue of this album,
Right.
which came out 10 years ago, which would make
Apt.
total sense.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But
just
it's interesting because they're headlining Glastonbury this year.
they are.
So,
They were supposed to do it 2 years ago, weren't
Yeah.
they?
But then he broke his leg.
But then he broke his leg.
So Radiohead, and both of them put out incredible albums in 1997, around a month apart, didn't they? So Radiohead did OK Computer.
They
Foo Fighters
did. They did,
Cool in Shape.
indeed. Well, in fact, actually, Radiohead, didn't they release OK Computer on May the 21st?
In Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah.
So they came out, so that was 2 days with 2
Yeah.
great out. If you were in Japan, that
Yeah.
would have been a good weekend for you.
It really would.
Yeah, everywhere else in the world, like, gotta wait another month.
So there we are.
OK Computer.
That's that.
Brilliant.
Foo Fighters.
Thank you for joining us on this musical adventure. There'll be
you.
another one next Friday.